here we have a couple of examples what kind of additions we are doing for S60 user interface offering. So we are expanding the user experience possibilities with a couple of new things which I can now show you and explain what they mean. So Touch UI is one of the things that we are adding. And there's a couple of imaginary touch devices to tell what kind of touch devices can be done. So there might be touch devices which are using T9 keyboard, or then touch devices using QWERTY keyboard, or then with this kind of a limited key set. So it's up to the licensee to decide what type of touch devices they want to design. And of course this gives more alternatives for end users as well, because they have options to choose the type of touch device they really need, because one size does not fit for all, so there needs to be flexibility. And then this comes with 3 different text input methods, which is, by the way, the widest set of text input methods that anyone provides with the Touch UI. So there's virtual T9 keyboard, you can use it with finger or with thumb. And then there's handwriting recognition, very good for Asian languages. And then virtual QWERTY keyboard. So these are 3 different methods together with more than 50 languages we are supporting. Then we have quite multilingual Touch UI that can be used around the world for different segments and users. So user can always swap between these methods, and they have the decision in their hands. And this is about then what is the design all about. We want to keep it familiar and consistent to existing S60 design, because already more than 100 million people know how to use S60 user interface. So they don't need to start from the scratch, but they can benefit from the existing experiences. So it looks quite familiar to existing one. That is the whole idea. But now it comes with this kind of a toolbar, which always shows the most important functions. So it's very fast to use. So let's make a phone call, for example. It says find the name and hit the send button, and then it goes, it makes the phone call. You could also use these hardware keys if you wish. It's totally up to you. Some people don't want to smudge the screen, for example, so perhaps they want to use the hardware keys. And whole user interface is stylus and finger usable, so it's up to you which one you prefer. And this Touch UI comes with this kind of a tactile feedback, so it means that when user is tapping on the screen, the device gives you a small vibrant pulse, so it confirms the click. So it's very practical if you are walking around and typing text messages quickly, so you know that you are typing correctly when the device gives you a feedback about it. The whole Touch user interface is backwards compatible with our 3rd edition application, so there's no binary break. It means that all of those applications that are designed originally for 3rd edition are also automatically touch enabled when the touch is coming out, if those applications are done by using our components, like most of the applications are done like that. Let's see then what other things we have announced. So sensors is something that we are also adding, and sensor things can be used for many different kind of purposes, but let me give you an example. So if you have an incoming call and you want to make it silent, you just turn the device upside down and it silences the call. Or if you have a wake-up alarm too early at the morning, you just double tap the device and it snoozes the alarm. So it's quite practical way to interact with the device. Or it of course can be used for fun and entertaining things, like imagine what kind of games you can have if the device recognizes how you hold it or squeeze it or shake it or whatever you do with that. So, and then we are naturally opening the APIs for third-party developers, so they can fully utilize the sensors. And then we also have this kind of a sensor framework, so it means that licensees can add all kind of sensors into the framework, proximity sensors, light sensors, and then utilize those into devices and applications.
Are you going to require licensees to at least have a specific type of sensor, and then they can add on top of that? Or are all licensees open to put in whatever sensors or leave out whatever sensors they wish?
They can use whatever sensors they wish. So by default we are starting with the motion and orientation sensors, and then it can be expanded to wider range. Okay. It's up to the licensees. But naturally licensees doesn't have to use sensors. They can do such devices as they wish. So all of these new things are kind of not dependent on each other. So they might be touch devices using some of the features, or then those features might be in a separate devices. So it's up to the licensee what kind of a setup they want to build. But this is then the third announcement, UI Accelerator Toolkit, which is a software toolkit for manufacturers. And with that kind of a toolkit, they can design 3D user interfaces. They can mix 3D graphics with 2D graphics. They can have all kind of animations and effects in order to make visually stunning, great-looking applications. So it's a nice thing for the end users as well. And then it's a very fast tool because it only touches the graphical layer of the user interface and doesn't interfere the functional layer. So because of that, developers can actually do 10 different looking music players, real software, in a day. So it's really good for R&D work.